Special guest today is Bryce Wilson. Many of you, most of you know him. This man is 67 years old. He was born in Prescott, Iowa, was there until the age of 3, made his way, Prescott is 44 miles from Lamoni, and it's west of Creston. He moved to Creston, raised in the RLDS, now you just stop me when I get it wrong.
That's right.
Raised in the RLDS church, started playing the guitar at 12. He attended Graceland College, he was in Stuart Manor, and he entered in the fall of '76. It was an historic year.
By the way, I went to Fort Benning and did my AIT.
Oh, did you?
Right before
He went to Fort Benning and did some of his service work. Okay. He was at Graceland. He loved playing music with his Graceland buddies. Homework was not your thing. That's my first question. What was up with that? Take the mic.
Hello, there we go. When I came to Graceland, I thought I was really a cool guitar player. And then, right down the end of my hall, this screaming guitar was going on down there. And I looked out the door, and all these girls were plastered against this guy's door, looking in. I walked down, looked in the door, and thought, why do we think I can play guitar? We became very good friends. Larry Thomas from Tulsa, Oklahoma, by the way. And I played so much guitar with Larry, I flunked it at Graceland. So then I had to go back. I had to go. Alma Blair had a class at Nauvoo, so I had to go to summer school. And what's not always historical interpreter, not a tour guide. That's what Alma always said. You're not a tour guide. You're a historical interpreter. So I got enough grade point average to get me back to Graceland. I had to reapply to get back to Graceland. There we go.
So you get back to Graceland. You make friends with Margie Foster. You're in the Ramblers. Tell us about you met a special person.
Well, by the way, Don Brashears and Margie and I were in Don Brashears' concert choir at Graceland. Okay?
Didn't know that.
But this guy who played the guitar told me how to play bass too. So I said, well, I can play bass like this. Oh, I was in a class called Orthomolecular Nutrition.
Oh, yeah, I took that.
Yeah. Well, I have an uncle his name is Bryce, by the way, who is an osteopath in Des Moines. I thought, well, and my other uncle was a lawyer. If you look at the DVD at the Vets Auditorium, his name is up there, Paul Garrett Law. So my name is Bryce Garrett Wilson. So I thought, well, I'll be either a doctor or a lawyer. So that's why I ended up in orthomolecular nutrition. No. I'm sitting there, and the other guy was sitting there, and we're going, I cannot handle this class. He goes, neither can I. He goes, I hear they need a bass player down at Temple Hall, called the History of Riverboat Music. Okay, so I said, well, I was the first bass player for Graceland Ramblers. And then he was also in. His son, by the way, worked for my son up here.
But take me to what happened with this lady you met.
Oh, well, I was on tour the first year, then I went the second year. And then we were, me and another guy named Tom McClarty. I said, hey, we had to come back early. We had a Graceland show for the first year students at Graceland. So we were there a week early, and they were there a week early, and I said, hey, Todd, let's go check out all the girls, the freshman girls, and pick their guitars.
And maybe do some Bible study with them.
I don't know if there's any Bible study or not. But we threw up our guitars and went in the hall at Graceland, Tess Morgan actually, and walked down the hall, and it so happened that he knew the two girls from California. One of them turned out to be my wife, by the way.
Cindy.
Cindy.
Tell me about the proposal.
Well,
I don't believe this part of it.
Well, okay, here's what happened is, we said, well, you guys are from California, so we did California Girls by the Beach Boys. We played that. Now, if you know Lloyd White, you guys know Lloyd White in town? Lloyd does not like electric guitar. He told me that if you played electric guitar for your wife, you'd still be single.
Tell me about the proposal.
Oh, what about the proposal?
Where was it?
Oh, Pizza Shack. Pizza Shack over, we had, what did we have? Pepperoni? No, Canadian bacon with
This is
pineapple.
why I have notes here.
Yeah, Canadian bacon, pineapple, and green and black olives on it.
Okay,
And that's how
so
I proposed.
you proposed in '79. You head to
No,
California.
78, I proposed.
Okay.
Got married.
In '79, you go back to California. You work at Sears and Roebuck. You're a mail clerk, and then they elevate you to an order writer. Then you go to
No,
Independence.
then I go to analyst. I'm at the top of my office.
Oh, analyst.
I'm
But tell me
good.
about, you come back, you live in Independence, and then in 1988, you decide to go live on the land with Ron Livingston.
Right.
What was that like?
It was cool.
Okay.
I mean, that's why we went there, because we liked the outdoors and all that.
But it didn't end well.
No, it didn't. I get kicked out of there.
That would be 2009, after being there 21 years.
Right.
You brought into the world 2 daughters and 2 sons. You worked with your son remodeling in his remodeling business, but then take us to the fateful night of December 15, 2015.
Well, both my sons worked with me, and we had our own business. We met at his house, and my wife had just started taking high blood pressure medications. And so she was having heart palpitations of that. So my son Logan took her up to the hospital, Decatur County, and I went up with my Ford Ranger, and we were there. It was almost 3 o'clock in the morning when we got done with all the tests and everything. And so,
So what happened?
what happened?
It's 3 in the morning, you get
Well,
off
my
the
son
Highway
Logan
2.
is getting tired. And my wife said, "Go home, Logan. Dad'll take me home." So I have no memory of any of this. Okay, by the way. So I guess I took my Ranger, went across Highway 2, and went down the interstate. You got a picture of my truck there?
Here we go, you keep talking.
I'm keeping talking. There's my truck right there.
What happened?
So, a guy, a semi hauling hogs, rammed in the back of my truck. My wife was asleep, and she'd fallen asleep, and she woke up, and I said, "Oh God, he's going to hit us." And then it hit us. I'm assuming it spun sideways because she said she remembered 2 hits. So I'm sure it spun and hit the trailer. Then it flipped over, end over end, or side over side, down into the ditch. Well, he took his semi and came back and said, he ran down the hill, said, sir, you okay?" And that's the back of my truck right there. And my wife said, "Call 911. He goes, "Call 911," because he had a purse. I had, he goes, "Call 911. He jumped and ran back up the hill, got in a semi, and took off.
Oh.
But it so happened that when he hit the back of my truck, the deputy sheriff was working. He said, I might need that license plate."
Can you see the picture on the screen, Bryce? Isn't that the gully
Yeah, that's where I went down the hill.
on I-35 South?
Mile marker 9 and 10 right there. Is there one where the tracks are really wide?
Here you go.
Yeah,
Where it has
it's where the interstate
Right there,
splits.
yeah. So my son took me there after the wreck. I was going to therapy up at Decatur County, and he said, "You want to go see where you were hit?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why are my tires so wide coming down the hill?" He goes, "That's where you came down the hill sideways." And I came in, and when it hit the bottom, then it pole vaulted, basically hit and went 25 feet and nosedived straight into the ground. Then I was thrown out of the truck.
Why am I seeing this picture?
Because with my head injury, you have 4 lobes in your brain, and 3 of my 4 lobes were affected, and I had acute hearing then. And every time I heard a helicopter land on the roof, because I was life flighted into the Mercy One there. And somebody said it cost, they said, well, it was $25,000 for the ride in the helicopter.
But you don't remember it.
I had no idea. In fact, Lloyd White said, well, Bryce, for that price, it should have taken a couple of loops around the state.
Do you recognize this scene?
Yes, that is, I am in ICU there in a medically induced coma. And I couldn't breathe on my own. That's why I had the life on me, because I couldn't breathe on my own.
How long?
I was probably a week in there, and they kept the temperature of the room at 60 degrees so my brain wouldn't swell, to keep it from swelling.
You don't remember this either, right here.
I don't remember any of this. In fact, there's about 6 weeks in there I have no memory of.
And 53 days you were in the hospital.
Yes. I do one time remember, okay, see that guitar right there? That guitar, they found, Rhonda Mickelson brought her guitar. She was up there in Des Moines at the time. She brought her guitar for me to play, kind of try it out. And the nurse said, hey, if he can play guitar, told my wife, go get a guitar and bring it to the hospital and do music therapy with him. And I'm going, where'd they get this guitar from? Because the only reason I knew I had it is because on Facebook I showed a picture of me getting it. So that was 2 weeks before my wreck.
And is it true that the truck driver came down to check on you?
Yes.
Cindy said, go call 911, and what did he do?
He got back in his truck, ran up the hill, took off and ran off.
But how did they trace him?
Because he had the license plate, and every who saw the wreck was calling 911.
License plate was in the road, on the ground.
Huh?
Wasn't it laying in the ground?
Yes, I was laying. In fact, what's his name? Deputy Sheriff Landon Burke, Deputy Sheriff, was working. He goes, I might need a license plate, so he threw it in the squad car, and that's how they got a hold of him.
There was discussions about pulling the plug, right?
Yeah.
They thought about maybe taking you off the machines.
Yeah.
The decision was made not to.
Well, my daughter-in-law said, do we need to pull him off the life support? Because we don't know. The doc said, no, I think there's enough brain activity there that let's wait and see. And what they did is they tried to wean me off oxygen every day. And the last day where they're going to tracheotomy, that thing, I can't remember. That day they're going to get ready to do that, I started breathing on my own.
You hurt your eye?
Well, what happened there is...
Well, your neck, 3 vertebrae.
3 vertebrae cracked in my neck, 3 in my middle back, and 3 in my lower back, and my whole sternum was all torn up. But what happened is, because of my injuries to my brain, I was seeing double. So they're trying to get me to train to see, just one. I would drive down, I wouldn't drive. But whenever we drove down the road, down the blacktop, I would see a freeway there. I would see 2 roads. And what was her name? Harriet White. You know Harriet? I guess she came to visit me one time. She goes, well, what do you see, Bryce? Do you see me? I said, yeah, I see 2 of you. She goes, well, aren't you lucky? Anyway, yeah. And what you had to do is you have to use humor to make it go, make it. Now, I went to Iowa City after my wreck. I had to go to a neuropsychologist. I was a hard word for me to remember, neuropsychologist. Okay. I went there 3 hours, 4 hours of testing, and then I got evaluated. He said I have a 94% memory rate. I can remember things, but I have 14% cognitive, and I still do. That means it took me 9 or 10 hours to do what it would take normally 1 hour for a normal person to do.
You were not a good patient. Talk about that.
Well, some people say I wasn't.
You used the word combative at our breakfast
Yes.
the other day.
Yes, people who have head injuries are combative, very combative. And so I guess I grabbed a hold of a nurse's hands, fingers and both, and tried to tear her arm in.
But like Superman, you have a new gift. Talk about that.
What's the new gift I have? Oh, hearing, yeah.
You use the word acute.
I have an acute hearing, so that's why, one reason why the helicopters, every time I hear the helicopter land on the roof, I had to go down and take a look at it. My wife wanted me. And I would hear somebody's page go off, a phone ring, and I says, well, somebody answered the phone. My wife said, that's 2 rooms down. And so, huh?
Does that still persist today?
Yeah. In fact, I carry these all the time on me.
So be careful what you say in
can
this
hear.
room.
I carry these little earplugs in order to help me sleep at night.
You told me that, mentally, you can learn stuff well, but it still takes you, you use the word 10 times longer to
Yeah.
perform a task.
Yeah.
How frustrating is that?
Very frustrating. Like my wife says, if I want something done, I don't ask you to do it. I'll ask my sons to do it.
And you also need to sleep some more.
Yes. I am, because it takes, okay, use the word energy. It's really hard. I have to really concentrate on saying energy. And neuromolecular, whatever it's called.
Whatever. Okay, I've got some real serious questions that I wrote out. What else did you tell me? You attend Living Hope Church in Leon.
Right.
You're co-owner with your wife of the Linden Street Coffee House, what we all love.
I'm just a gopher. Okay.
Did you, Bryce Wilson, ever say to yourself, why me, Lord, why me?
I've never thought of that.
Did you ever have challenges with depression? You said 53 days in the hospital. That had to be a tough stretch.
I don't remember most of it. I do remember one time asking my son, I guess I had gallbladder surgery. And
Gangrene.
It was gangrene. In fact, the nurse said, I think he has gallbladder problems, and the doctor said, no, he don't. Well, it turned out, somebody ordered another doctor ordered a,
CT.
what's it called?
A CAT scan.
Cat, whatever it's called. That thing. And the older doctor got mad at him for doing it, but he's the one who had to do the surgery, and it was gangrene.
Were you aware, maybe not, that so many people were praying for you?
No, I was not at the time.
Bryce, many people were
That's
praying
what
for
I
you.
hear afterwards, yes.
Yeah. Would you describe yourself as a spiritual kind of a guy throughout your life?
Yeah, I was. In fact, when I lived out in the community, I was an ordained elder out there.
Okay. I've got questions that I'm deciding not to ask.
Okay,
But I'm filtering here.
When my wife and I were first married, we lived in Independence, Missouri. We went to a place that was called Harvest House. There are several houses down there. And, Wade Hankins, anybody heard of that name at all? CCM, anyway, but they would play guitar. That was mainly their music, and they met in houses, like something like this there. And their main music was playing guitar music in that, so that's
been your passion,
That's a
that's
passion
been your
for me.
ministry.
Yeah.
The role, what would you say the role, the place for God, Jesus is in your life today? Significant, not very significant, really significant?
I'd say it's pretty significant.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
That's why Rhonda Mickelson and I and Mike Jordan and Brian Anders had a contemporary band called Share the Well that we,
Share the will.
yeah.
Did you ever think that the universe, God, had a reason for you to be involved in that wreck, that long journey back to who you are today. How are you now with what you went through and God's role in all of that? Deep question, I know.
I know, too deep for me.
Too deep for me.
You know what? The pictures I have there on that,
Yeah.
I made that up and put it all together, hoping somebody would want me to share that. It's been 10 years now. My Greg will have been 10 years ago in December.
He's
What do
got
you
the
got?
cutest thumb drive. Sterling has a question.
Yeah, before we get too far off.
Well, that's
of
about
the-
it.
The traffic accident, we've heard how it's affected you. We've heard what your truck did, which sounded acrobatic. How's your wife? Did she suffer any?
Yeah, she bit her tongue really hard. She had a big bruise down her leg, and she had what do you call post-traumatic stress syndrome? Is that what it's called?
PTSD.
Whatever that is called. Anyway, it took her a year to finally come to grips with wanting to drive a car again. Took me a year, by the way, before I need to get my long-term memory back. I couldn't remember in the hospital. The nurse would say something, and 15 minutes later, I couldn't remember a thing I was told.
I'm that way now.